man was in his early days of monkey days, I call them. Man communicated with nature and was more in contact with nature. Now in our electronic days where we're busy looking at our cell phone or our iPad or our TV set or our Game Boy or something, we don't spend any time outside feeling the grass, walking on it barefoot. Oh, my goodness. Or even just standing in some dirt or walking on the beach or just go outside and smell the air if it's not too polluted. You get a connection, and it stirs memories of our past. We have got to remember our past of when we were in close contact with nature. Maybe the only time you got it was when you were a baby and they put a blanket on the lawn and you under a tree or something, and you could crawl around and feel the grass. Maybe even babies eat the grass. I don't know. It's just a part of it. If you've ever touched a plant, maybe picked a strawberry and tasted it. What a delightful thing. Or smell the fresh grass after a rainstorm. This is our connection, our little opportunity to see and feel and hear and touch and taste more of life. Not the stuff that just comes from the store in a box, prepackaged and made from other genetically manipulated, genetically manipulated organisms. So that's my part for today. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Corey, that reminds me of getting, you spoke about getting in touch with the plants and everything and trees. I hope everyone gets a chance and really does this. Go and hug a tree. Really feel it's amazing how you can feel the sap. You can't see it, but you can sure feel its life, its earthiness, and its beauty and everything. If no one has ever hugged a tree, it's high time to get to know those trees, and it's amazing. You do feel so uplifted and so in touch with nature and so happy. I remember I like cactus. Many people don't care for cactus because they're so they can hurt you. But anyway, I had this little I do love all kinds of cactus. This little plant was just a tiny little thing when I bought it. And cactuses, don't grow very fast. But this one did. And it also sprouted another little arm. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And then it just grew. And all one day, a blossom came. The most beautiful pink that I had, kind of it was a bright, shiny pink with a little yellow in the middle, that little thing, and the hummingbirds would like to come in there, but they were careful and they were tiny, and it just grew, and I would always praise it and love it and water it and fertilize it, and honest to goodness, that little plant really just blossomed by itself. It grew, and it grew every time the spring would come around. That plant would bring forth another beautiful, beautiful pink blossom. And it grew, and it grew, and it grew, and the more it grew, the more pink blossoms came. It was beautiful. So I really feel that I would praise it and love it, and we can really enjoy and be a part of nature. And that little cactus, who wasn't supposed to grow, brought forth every spring the most beautiful pink flowers that you ever did see. So, and also I had a geranium. I love to see geraniums, and I would always get the ones that were like two colors in the leaves. And I swear to goodness, this geranium and I had a real connection. And I would go to the other, had some plants, I guess about 4 of them, but the cactus and the geranium would just, I could actually feel the vibrations, and I would tell them how wonderful they are. And on the other plants too, yes, good morning and good afternoon. But those 2 plants, there was a real connection. I could feel it. And every time I'd come on the porch, I could feel it. I really could. So we really are connected. Everything is one. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful world.
And you mentioned dreams too, Claudia, and I remember Dwayne, the great writer, made a big impression on me once when he said, "Dream your way to the is," and we use this term "is" for the reality life is. It's just this all-encompassing reality. We term it the is, or all is. Well, once he said, or maybe twice or more, he said, "Dream your way to the is." So I like that. I've been using that for years now, and we notice that most people, their imaginations have been hijacked by the media and by the systems of the world, and they really have limited themselves by their dreams, both on the real side and here. And if they could just kind of shake themselves loose a little bit, which, again, Dwayne, early on when I was working with Dwayne, the great writer, he'd have us do some funny things, like little skits, wearing costumes and saying, he'd make the script up, and it wouldn't make a lot of sense, but it was just kind of to get us, like, our stiffness, loosen us up a little bit, have some fun, maybe so we could see more, in our dreams and in our imagination, because our imagination, most people's imagination is stuck in the systems which are purposely done to control and utilize people's imagination. It's actually very, very, very limiting to what the potential, what life is all about, which is there's so much more than what people are led to believe. So another thing we're doing here is to help people to assist people to really let go and really let your dreams, let your imagination go, and don't be limited by even books, especially TV and movies. I mean, you can use them as a starting point, but really let go and let, because that's where you can utilize this tool of imagination to go even further into your own world, your own reality, so that you can get through yourself and recognize the real reality, which is this is that we're talking about constantly. So it's very interesting, the process, how it works. So I encourage everybody to just dream their way through this world and the other worlds that they would find themselves in. Because when you lose your body, you won't have the physical senses to deal with anymore. The nervous system and the 5 senses, you'll be in a different form, but you'll be in a different area. So again, if you have an imagination, if you have that developed to a certain point where you're not restricting yourself and you're not tied in to certain attitudes and ideas, you'll have a better view of things to go on, and because life just keeps going on and on and on.
Yes, this is Claudia
Mhm.
again. I just want to say I'm right with you.
There is only a hair's breadth between the dream arena and a person's personal awakened state. And so, which is reality? Even though dreams have been specified in many religious doctrines for centuries, most people will still wonder about them and are constantly searching for their meaning. And if there is any validity or connection to the other worlds, a person's dream visions are the most valid connection and are the key to many secret worlds. Humans are always the last to know anything of a real benefit and value, as they present, and they not only present, but they persist in being stubborn and looking to the fronts of authorities for the information and lifestyle. These are people who profess to know all the answers in their own minds, which is usually related to something only personal, like in the case studies of Sigmund Freud and what he wrote about dreams, because he was one of the first of today's world to see anything about dreams. Most people will go through the interpretations, which can sometimes make sense, but only if a person wants to continue to reincarnate here for more lifetimes and stay unaware of their true potential. There is so much more to the dream view, man, than what is seen on the surface. Rebus Artars specifically told me that when I was in my physical body, I was mainly dead to the true reality and the full awareness of it, and that my dream visions were the real adventure and true awareness. And it is from this position of being outside the human consciousness that there becomes a decision as to the direction. And so it is that very few ever find the all is. He said the physical body is an animated vehicle, as all expression in the material worlds only, and that is it. Once a person learns to go beyond the rock-hard worlds, they are free from having to come back as a limited person. When he first told me this as a youngster, I was a little perplexed at first, but I gained more experiences with him. I began to see the vast difference between being free in my real awareness and then, on the other hand, having to deal with the body. There is so much more to one's dreams that most people really know and understand. Through a long process with real guides and a real education, the eventual goal is to get beyond the literal senses of the intellect, then into the more intuitive position, and finally a real position to perceive from. When we are having our dream episodes while the body is asleep, it means that we have the potential of so much more that we are not aware of. This is where the real guidance takes over and assists us. When we are asleep, we have the opportunity to be taught by the best if we have made the real connection with the new man and the real guides. Within the awareness of your dream visions, a person can get a lot more done and learn a lot faster on any subject. For millions of lifetimes, people have had wonderful experience. They rarely pay any attention to that. But it would be they'd much rather toil on this earth and come back again and again, and to see, as they look to accomplish the hardest task, which usually means very little or nothing at all. I would rather fly like a bird and be supported by the true reality, but most would rather stay here and have to deal with the authoritarians. Dean or Tim?
Go ahead, Tim.
Or someone? You want to comment on that?
This big opportunity to become aware is being offered by Dwayne by giving us this new you song that connects us somehow with this real education and this real guidance, so we can become aware of what our dreams mean and learn in them. And it's such a big gift to just be, even though we here in the material realm go through lots of suffering, it seems like.
I noticed that it's never what I think it is, or it's never what I don't think it is either. It's always so much better. And I mentioned using the imagination. Well, that only goes so far. So one has to literally get the personal self, move it out of the way, or in a way be disinterested in it, so that one can allow this reality to come in. And I just find it so fascinating that it's never the way, never the way I think it is. And I'm using think as just I don't think really, but I'm just using that term. Like I never, never think, it's never the way I think it is. Well, it's never the way, whatever I think, whatever. But it's just always new now. That's what's so neat about this. It's always new now, and it's fresh, and it's pure and sincere. All these things that are what it is.